Good morning, everyone. It's 10 o'clock, and in the interest of time, we will begin this morning session. I'd like to welcome everyone to the maiden edition of the Assure Advisors discussion on insurance. This morning's discussion is supported by Star Assurance and is centered around the role of mandatory insurance in our communities. Let me start this session off with a quote that I feel sums up what we've gathered here to discuss today. Always plan ahead. It wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. My name is Mansa Aisi Otri. I will be your host for today, the moderator for today's session. I'd like to welcome you all again and ask that you all, we spend the next 10 minutes just getting to know ourselves a little bit more, and while we wait for the rest of our participants to also join us. So we'll spend the first 10 minutes networking. Please share your information in the chat room, who you are, what you do, so we have an idea of who's in the room with us. Speak to somebody you haven't seen in a while. Speak to someone you don't know. Get to know what other people are doing, and we will be officially beginning the session at 10 minutes past 10.
We all need someone to lean on, especially in times of disaster like flooding. We know a friend who cares, one you can trust. For a comprehensive homeowners policy, talk to Assure Advisors on 0303 978 915 or locate us at the Pearl Building, Tetekwe Street, Jolu, Accra. Assure Advisors, your support system.
Hello, everyone. I'll encourage you all to continue to share your details with us in the chat room so we know who's out here. There's quite a number of us online already. Let's take advantage of the opportunity and network, get to know each other. Just share with us your name and your company, what you do, so that we can also, the rest of us can also take stock. You never know. This morning might be the moment you strike an acquaintance with someone of value to you. So please share your details with us. Let's get to know each other.
Hello. Yes, please.
Me chama, yeah, man, yeah, I feel my baby.
Okay. Maybe.
Some 15 minutes. 10 right?
Okay. That's fine. Maybe yeah. What?
Yeah, Victoria. Okay. 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 Okay.
We are just about 2 minutes away from starting. It shouldn't stop you from continuing to introduce yourselves in the chat room. Please do that. Please mention your name and the company you're with or what you do, and get to know somebody in there as well. There's a few of us online at the moment, so I will take advantage and say good morning to a few of us. So good morning to Ridwan Rufai. Good morning to Angelina Ama, Anita Kote, Benedicta Gansa Afo, Daniel Kofi Sampon Bila, Deborah Wellington, Evelyn Nejapon, Isaac Ajete, Joseph Donko, Maria Kramwa, Marianne Dodu, Nanekria Edudakun. Good morning to you all. Good morning to Peace Aisiotre. Good morning to Senor Sebeji Rush, Edem Adbesi. It's a lot of good mornings to say. Please say good morning to your friends and your colleagues on here as well. We're just about 2 minutes from starting the program. Let's take advantage of networking hour. Okay, so good morning again, once again to everybody. Welcome to the maiden edition of Assure Advisors discussions on insurance. This morning, we are talking about the mandatory role of insurance. And we're going to start this morning session off with an introduction to Assure Advisors who are hosting this program in collaboration with Star Assurance. I'm going to invite Doreen Denu, the General Manager for Assure Advisors, to give us a little information on Assure Advisors. Doreen, over to you.
Thank you, Manta. Good morning, everybody, and we are grateful to have everyone join this meeting. As Manta said rightly, my name is Doreen Deno, and I'm the General Manager for Assure Advisors. Assure Advisors is a corporate agency for Star Assurance, and Assure Advisors was set up in the year 2017, and also is a corporate agency or an insurance agency dedicated to selling life policies, general insurance policies, and everything insurance. When it comes to life insurance, general insurance, health insurance, group insurance, anything insurance, Assure Advisors is the best agency to consult for us to give you the right advice to buy a policy. Now, the aim of the company being open, or the company was established to be the choice when it comes to agency or insurance agency in Ghana. So we seek to become the agency choice, or the #1 agency choice in Ghana, with the largest agency of insurance expert advisors. Okay, so when we look at the people that we work with, we ensure that they are professionally trained and they are experts in the line of insurance. And that is why I said earlier on that anything insurance, you can count on Assure Advisors. Assure Advisors has our mission, which is to provide a full range of insurance services through this network of agents. So you can be talking to one person when it comes to insurance. That same person can advise you with regards to health insurance, with regards to life insurance, with regards to general insurance, and with regards to group insurance. You should see that person as an expert, and that is our mission. Our vision is the largest agency force, or the largest network of insurance agents in the country, and we want to spread across all regions of Ghana. And right now, Assure Advisors has successfully opened a branch in the Eastern region, Koforidua to be precise, where you can walk in and have good insurance advice on any insurance business that you seek to have. The purpose of today's training is to enrich our clients with the knowledge on insurance. We want our clients to feel a part of the policy that we sell to them. We want them to understand the importance of mandatory insurance so that they will not be found wanted. We want them to understand the exact cover in entirety when we talk about insurance. So that is the purpose of today's session. By attending this program, you have the opportunity to grow career-wise, and you also have the opportunity to grow economically. Looking at the economy of the country, if you have knowledge on insurance, you'll be able to plan financially to secure the future of yourself and your loved ones. And Assure Advisors is in the right position to offer. So I want you to sit and enjoy today's session. Let it be as interactive as possible. Ask all the questions that you may, and we are here to host you. So enjoy yourself. Thank you, Manta.
Thank you, Doreen. Before we continue, can I just elaborate on a few house rules for this morning? Please put your self on mute. By all means, leave your video on so we can see you. We can say hello or give you a wave. And if you have any questions to ask throughout the session, kindly put it in the chat box if you think you're going to forget. We will allow moments within the conversation where you can ask questions of our speakers. If you want to speak to anybody directly, please remember to click on the person's name so you can send a message to them directly. Once again, welcome, and thank you very much, Doreen. Insurance is one of those enigmas that we are not all very comfortable with. Mandatory ones, we know we have to, so we do it. But there are others that are supposed to help us, plan for ourselves. And somewhere along the lines, I encountered a quotation, which I shared with you earlier, about planning, which is, Noah started to build the ark when there was no rain. Planning is essential, especially when it comes to the issue of insurance. Because we really don't take insurance you don't buy insurance because you're going to maybe die or lose your items. You buy them for those who are actually going to live, and for the fact that you love the ones that you have, or that you want to protect your economic stability in the future. So today is a very important discussion, and I'm excited that there's so many of us online at the moment. It's also encouraging that this discussion is happening and is being brought to us by two of the very, very well-affirmed companies in the country at the moment. And so Assure Advisors and Star Assurance are two of your most reputable companies in the country at the moment. And this is a great time to be asking questions of their staff, who are well equipped to answer us on these issues of mandatory insurance. So as we continue this morning, we will hear a short message from Star Assurance from Benedicta. I'd like to invite Benedicta to come and speak to us on Star Assurance.
Have you the video?
When car accident happens, who would you be? The Mr. Too Angry?
Who chose a venue for this wedding? The preaching was too long. Huh? Who?
Or the Mr. Iradimeu?
I did body wax and strangers last week.
It's okay.
Don't okay me.
Tell him, we'll be okay though.
Okay, I'm good.
Or the Mr. I've Got Star?
We were already on our way to assess the damage and process your claim accordingly.
Alright, I feel relieved.
When car accident happens, live. Let Star take care of it. Sign up to Star Comprehensive Motor Insurance today. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Star Assurance Advisors, Customer Experience Unit, 100% Communication. I'm here this morning to talk to you about Star Assurance, our vision, our achievements, and why we choose Star Assurance to do business right. Star Assurance Company Limited is a privately owned insurance company endorsed and incorporated in Paris 1984, and licensed to carry out corporate and retail insurance businesses in Ghana. We commenced operations in April 1985. We underwrite general insurance business products, including motor, fire, marine, aviation, accident, travel insurance, etc. Within the past 6 years of our operations, we have emerged as the biggest indigenous private insurance enterprise in terms of assets, and indeed among the first 5 insurance companies in Ghana in terms of premium income. The company has 27 branches in 9 out of the 16 regional capitals of Ghana. The remaining 7 are serviced by agency offices. We therefore have presence in all the regional capitals. The federal organization of partner with you to be a definition of insurance that of the experiences. Our mission is to optimize resources in order to give clients increased satisfaction, employees optimize human potential, and share the best economic value. Our core values, we have professionalism, innovativeness, teamwork, winning spirits, ownership. Expertise and broad capabilities to consistently deliver reliable services to our customers. We are dedicated to continuing improving our products, our operations, and performance in order to deliver innovative solutions and extraordinary services to achieve the highest expectation of our customers. We build mutually beneficial relationship among staffs, sales executives, and insurance brokers and other partners such as assured advisors who share in similar values and work in tandem to achieve high performance, excellence, and superior business results. We are action-oriented, constantly striving to deliver results, create possibilities, and build a brighter future for all our stakeholders. Achievements of Star Assurance. The company is an A-rated company. We have received several nominations as a member of the Ghana 500 in the past 3 decades of our existence. We cannot be a lot of achievements that are only focused on few achievements in the last 2 years. Recently, just last weekend, we won the Gold Award, General Insurance Customer Service, awarded by the Ghana Premium Business and Finance Excellence Awards 2020. We are the best general insurance company of the year 2020, awarded by the Ghana Business Awards. Best company in employee development, awarded by the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana Awards 2020. IT Innovative Company of the Year, awarded by the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana. Customer Care Customer Service Award, awarded by Ghana Insurance Awards. And that is the visiting of our branches to the sites. Why would you want to choose Star Assurance? For the past 36 years of my experience and expertise, Star Assurance is fully aware and understand the risks associated with underwriting and has its the funds and expertise of professionals managing the public branches. So addition is also very effective because both the CEO and the point of underwriting is evident in the remarkable underwriting and cost of having the results and cost of having the industry. You also see Masewa, who happens to be one of our speakers, who was adjudged the professional underwriter of the year at the Chartered Insurance. For this reason, we remain the insurance
sorry to interrupt. Your audio is Benedicta, your audio isn't very good. We're having trouble hearing your presentation properly. Is it possible to address that in the next few minutes, and then we will come back to the Star Assurance message a little bit or further in the conversation? Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for that. We will bring Benedicta back in just when we've tested her audio. But a few things that I gleaned from her conversation. Star Assurance has 27 branches nationwide, and they're in 9 out of the 16 regions in the country. And this is valuable for all of us, especially as it means that there's wide coverage and we can access services from Star Assurance easily. Also, prompt payments. That is key for most of us. Most insurance companies are usually plagued with the accusations of not paying their payments on time when people make claims. So we're very, very excited about the fact that Star Assurance is promising us prompt payments with their services if you have to make a claim. Okay. We will continue the morning and bring Benedicta in a little bit so she can share some more with us. But there's a very great many moments where you hear about Star Assurance and the good work that they are doing. Just how much do we all know about insurance? We'll take a very quick quiz. to give us all a chance to sort of settle back and walk ourselves into the discussion this morning. So just how much do you know about the quiz? A pop-up quiz is just going to come up on your screen. Very quickly answer, and let's see just how much we all know about insurance this morning. My apologies, we appear to have some technological problems. The quiz will come up on our screens shortly. In the absence of our quiz, let me say hello to a few more of you who are here. Mame Esiewa Nkanta, thank you for joining us this morning. Patricia Allo, thank you for joining us. William Kobina Tabiri, thank you for joining us. Charles Adabra, Adam Abesi, Nanekia Edudakun, Rita Owusu, George Tete, thank you for joining us this morning. We will move on to the next item on our agenda, and that's actually the beginning of our discussions this morning. Our first speaker for today is Peter Nyako Dennis. Peter is the head of the West Hills branch for Star Assurance. In his role, he is responsible for the general management and business results of the branch. Peter joined Star Assurance in 2008 as a national service personnel and has since risen through the ranks. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration, Insurance Option from the University of Ghana Business School, and an EMBA in Finance from the same institution. He's a fellow of the Chartered Insurance Institute and a seasoned professional. Peter will be speaking to us this morning on motor vehicle insurance. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome by waving or smiling to Peter Nyako.
Is the audio? Oh. Hello, good morning, everybody. Master, thank you for having me. That was a stellar introduction. I feel like I'm walking on the moon. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you all for joining this feed. I want to introduce to us motor insurance. So I want to share my screen quickly so that we all get to see what I'm sharing and we can follow along. I hope my audio is fine too.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, you are fine.
So I'll do that quickly and then okay, so that's my screen. So mandatory motor vehicle insurance and its role. So that's picking up from our topic. So the objective of our discussion today is to describe the purpose of mandatory or compulsory motor insurance and explain what it covers. So what are the benefits of insurance before we even go on? Mansa told us a few benefits of insurance. So I just want us to quickly go through it. Insurance helps us to meet legal requirements. And that's why we have compulsory or mandatory insurances. It is also a means of social intervention. Sometimes there are some losses that we as, sometimes the government or even our community have our. So insurance companies come in to help, especially catastrophic incidents like flood, earthquakes. And most insurance companies are very, very reliable financially, and they're able to cover these losses. It also enables efficient use of resources. So if you know that you have insurance, you're able to align your resources properly. For instance, because you are paying a small percentage of your total loss as premiums, you'll be able to use your other capital for your capital for other things that are more resourceful or productive. It also reduces uncertainty. You know that certainly if maybe you are driving your car and you hit somebody, insurance will pay a certain amount of money to compensate that person. So it reduces the uncertainty that maybe one day I'll do that, or even sometimes when I work, I say, oh, I don't even have one city. If I knock down a pure water seller, I won't even be able to pay the person. These are some of the things. You know that if you have insurance, you knock down a pure water seller, you will even be able to pay the person's sale for the day, and whatever injury the person has, you will settle it. And insurance helps us manage our cash flow. If you have, it also flows from the efficient use of resources. So if you have a major loss and you'll have to use your own money to settle it, it will distort your cash flow and put you in a very bad situation. So these are the benefits of insurance. So before we go on, that's what I want us to feed our minds with and then contemplate on, so that we know that as we are coming to listen about insurance, we'll be able to meet these benefits of insurance if we are able to take insurances in future or from today. So now let's go to some of the definitions from our topic. So I'll go back to our topic, the mandatory motor vehicle insurance and its role. Okay, so I want us to define something. So mandatory is also synonymous with compulsory. So you are forced to do it. So we also have the insurance. So now let me just define insurance quickly, and then so insurance is an arrangement or a contract by which a company or the state undertakes to provide a guarantee of compensation or indemnification for specified loss. I mean, this is big English, but in short, it means that insurance helps us to or indemnifies us for losses that we suffer in future, and in return we pay a certain amount of money or a small percentage of whatever loss we might suffer in future as premiums. What are motor vehicles? So a motor is a machine, especially one powered by electricity or internal combustion, that supplies motive power for a vehicle. And a vehicle is a machine that is used on road, right, for transportation. And a motor vehicle should have moving parts and should be able to move on its own. So let me just read quickly what is here on motor vehicle. A motor vehicle is a road vehicle powered by an internal combustion engine. By this definition, bicycles and scooters cannot be considered as motor vehicles. Okay, so skates are also not considered as motor vehicles. So if you are riding a skate in town and then you damage somebody's car, you don't expect that you'll be able to even take motor insurance for it. And what is a public road? It is a highway or any other road to which the public has access and includes bridges over which a road passes. So I believe with this definition, we can move on to other things. So this will allay your any misunderstanding that you have on what we are coming to discuss. So why is motor insurance or motor vehicle insurance compulsory? Please, if I say motor vehicle insurance and then motor insurance, please let's understand that they are both interchangeable. So motor insurance. Okay. Excuse me for that. Why is motor insurance or motor vehicle insurance compulsory? There is an act or a law that prescribes why it should be compulsory, or prescribes that every owner or every motor vehicle that uses our public roads should have insurance. So I'll just read that quickly. The Motor Vehicle Third Party Insurance Act of 1958, number 42, makes it compulsory for motor vehicles that will be using public roads to have insurance or a security in respect of third-party risks. So please let's note that the security in respect of third-party risks is the reason for it to be compulsory. So we will now move on and ask ourselves, what are third-party risks? But before we state that, let's state what the act actually states or says. It says that a person shall not use or cause or permit any other person to use a motor vehicle unless there is in force in relation to the user of that motor vehicle. In relation to the user of that motor vehicle by that person or the other person, a policy of insurance or a security in respect of third-party risk, which complies with this act. So the spirit of the act or the law is to protect the innocent third party. So who is the third party? The third party is any person apart from the owner of the vehicle or the driver or the insured person. So that's a third party. So the third parties can be other road users like pedestrians, other vehicle owners, other property owners. These are all third parties. Okay, so now let's introduce the insurance policy so let's introduce the insurance policy that covers third-party risks. Okay, so the third party motor insurance policy is what. So the third-party motor insurance policy is what covers third-party risks. So under the third-party motor insurance, the insurance company will insure you against liability to third parties and loss or damage as described occurring within Ghana during the policy or during the period of insurance or the policy period. All right. So that's what the third-party motor insurance does. And this is the most basic of covers under motor insurance. Right, and this covers or this suffices for the law. It's adequate for the law to go on or the law to be implemented. So if you are driving on the road and the police stop you or ask you for your insurance policy and you are not able to produce it, the police have a right to arrest you because you are flouting a law. Okay. So this is why we have the third-party motor insurance. So you can't drive your vehicle without a third-party motor insurance policy. So I hope everybody here who owns a car has at least a third-party motor insurance policy. Okay, so now let's explain some other things under the third-party motor insurance policy. So we want to see the cover, what it covers. And the other things that are involved. The law is very basic. I don't want us to go into the law, but we want to look at what third-party insurance policy have developed into at the moment in Ghana. What has it become? Because it has developed over the years. We may not look at that development because of time, but we will look at what it states today. So the liability to third parties, what does it cover? The first thing it covers, you can read what I've written here, but I will not read it specifically. So it covers third-party death or bodily injury to any person. So when they say any person, it is any person other than the owner of the car or the driver or the mate, if it's a commercial vehicle. All right. And it also covers damage to property belonging to someone other than you or a member of your household. All right. So those are the two things it covers under the third party. And then let's look at other things that it states as in our policy. So the limit of liability arising from one accident or series of accidents resulting from a single original cause is stated in the schedule. The schedule is your insurance policy, and it is what is personal to your insurance policy. These are gleaned from our policy documents, all right? So that's why I'm bringing through them. So when a claim is made under section 2, that's the property damage section of it, whatever claim that we pay will reduce your limit under the property damage. So in that case, it is always advisable. So let me just give us the figures that are involved. For death and bodily injury, the cover is not limited. There is no limit to it. So if you injure somebody and it causes death, so if you injure someone and it causes death, the insurance company's liability is unlimited. So we'll pay based on some parameters that we use to calculate our benefit to that person's family or beneficiaries. All right. When there's an injury to the medical report, will state the extent of the injury, and based on that, we'll calculate and find out how much you are supposed to pay the person. Some of these issues can also lead to legal complications, which will have to be settled in court, and the court will determine how much will be paid or settled to the person. So let's move on. So that's the number 4. You can see that there's also an aspect of legal expenses. Okay, so the insurance company also takes care of legal expenses for defending you in court. So you don't have to do that. So that's one of the benefits or the good things about third-party insurance policy. Now let's look at the additional benefits under the policy. There's emergency medical expenses or treatment. So emergency medical expenses or treatment is for injuries that are sustained in an accident. So this is to provide immediate treatment to any victim of an accident. Then we have the compensation for bodily injury or death. So when we talk about the compensation for bodily injury or death, we are talking about your family members. So if it's a private vehicle or even a commercial vehicle, any person in your household who was on board the vehicle or riding on the vehicle, and the person gets injured, the insurance company will pay a compensation to that person. We also have the personal accident benefit to the policyholder, the driver, or the mate in the case of a commercial vehicle. So this is also paid to either any of these 3 people, and the limit is 5,000 Ghana cedis. Please let's take note of the limit. All right, we'll come to that again. We also have the towing and the
Peter, it appears you've muted yourself, so we can't hear you.
Please, where did you lose me? Or it was just right now, okay. So we just look at the towing of disabled vehicles. So you can tow disabled vehicles without a fee. So if you are doing it for a fee, insurance will not cover you on third-party basis. All right, and then trailers that are attached to your vehicle, and then driving other vehicles. And then I came to use of the vehicle outside of Ghana within the ECOWAS region. So we have the brown card insurance, which covers you within the ECOWAS region. And that's only on third-party basis. So now let's look at what the third-party insurance excludes. Sometimes we do insurance and we don't know the limit of our insurance. It is imperative that we read our policy document or ask our insurance representative to give us the breakdown of what our insurance doesn't cover. So that when we suffer a loss, we will not be aloof and say that, oh, I thought that this would be covered. So one of the main things one of the main things, please mute your mic if you are not asking a question. So one of the main things that will not be covered is if the vehicle is being used without the permission of the insured person or the owner of the car. So make sure that whoever is driving your car is driving based on your permission. Also, if your driver is not licensed, you will not be covered for any loss that happens. And please take note, if you have a commercial vehicle, make sure that your driver is above 25 years. If your driver is not above 25 years, the insurance company will not pay for the loss. Okay. Then also we have the other 4 parts where we are talking about intoxication or the person is impaired. So if the driver of your vehicle is impaired by any drug or is intoxicated by liquor, that means the person is drunk. Okay, the person is drunk, we will not pay for any losses that happen. If the person also refuses to allow law enforcement or the police to take a breath sample, he will not be covered. All right. So these are the various, we can read through them. So now I've given us the general exclusion, the benefits, and then what third-party motor insurance is about. So we now understand that when we are talking about compulsory or mandatory insurance, we are talking about third-party insurance. So if you don't have at least a third-party insurance policy, you will not be allowed to use your vehicle on the public roads in Ghana. So the policeman has a right to arrest you and charge you. All right. So what else does third-party insurance not cover? Third-party insurance does not cover your car. That's big news, right? For some of us who are not insurance people. It does not cover your car itself. Any physical damage to your car is not covered by third-party insurance policy. This is one thing that we should note very, very well. All right. So now let's look at this. Beyond motor insurance, or beyond compulsory motor insurance, that's beyond third-party motor insurance. Let's ask these few questions. Is third-party motor insurance adequate? Is it possible to incur more liability than what has been incurred, what has been insured? How about coverage for my vehicle? So I've just mentioned that your vehicle itself is not covered for any physical damage. So if you hit somebody's car, we will not pay for your car. We will pay for the other person's car or the other person's property. So that's what it covers. So let's answer these questions. Is it adequate? The cover for property damage is 5,000 Ghana cedis. If you destroy somebody's property, we will pay to a maximum amount of 5,000 Ghana cedis. Is that adequate? Because somebody's bumper is even more than 5,000 Ghana cedis. So as an insured or a user of our public roads, you think that this would be adequate for you to be driving with peace of mind? Let's ponder over this. And is it possible to have more liability to pay if you injure somebody? Let's ponder over this and I'll answer them for you. So let's look at other things that help us to go beyond the compulsory motor insurance. We have another policy called the Motor Third-Party Fire and Theft, and another policy called the Motor Comprehensive Policy. And lastly, we have the Motor Compensation Fund. So let's go into detail about these various points. So the Motor Third-Party Fire and Theft is another elevation over the Motor Third-Party Insurance. And it covers fire and theft. So damage due to fire to your vehicle and damage due to theft to your vehicle. So the theft, we cover both theft of the whole car and theft of any part of the car or vehicle. So we have the fire, the explosion, we have the theft, burglary, or even house breaking. So if somebody breaks into your house and breaks into your car, parked in the garage, it's also covered. So we will pay for the various parts of the cars as listed here, the cassette, we don't use cassette anymore, so the radio, the compact disc, the audio speakers, the mirrors, and all of those are paid for. And it is based on the value you give of your car at the time you are taking the insurance policy. Then we have the motor comprehensive policy. It might not be as comprehensive as you might think, but please, if you do the motor comprehensive policy, make sure that you ask your insurance representative to make you know how or the limit of your insurance policy, all right? Some cover 90%, especially for private insurance policies, up to 90%. And we have the commercial covering up to 85%. So please make sure that you read your policy and ask your insurance agent or insurance representative to explain properly to you. So in this case, we pay for accidental collision, overturning or collision of the or collision or overturning due to mechanical breakdown. So in this case, we don't pay for electrical faults, okay? We don't pay for electrical faults or mechanical faults. But if there's a mechanical breakdown that leads to an accident, we'll pay for it. We also pay for fire, as in under the fire and burglary, fire and theft policy, and the malicious acts. Malicious acts are actions where people intentionally damage your vehicle or your property. So we also have other perils that are covered, which are the flood, storm, hurricane, volcanic eruption, and the earthquake. So that's for the motor comprehensive. Now let's look at the motor compensation fund. So in this case, we've been talking about those who own vehicle for a while. But what of those who don't own their vehicles and may be involved in accidents and will need to be compensated for whatever has happened, or for their injuries or the damage to their property? So the compensation fund was set up in 1996 by the National Insurance Commission, which is the regulators of the insurance companies or the insurance industry in Ghana. So let's look at why the compensation fund was set up. It compensates anybody who has been injured after 1996, who is unable to obtain compensation from an insurance company because of the following: whether the person who injured them or damaged their property was an uninsured motorist. So for instance, the car which caused the accident does not have insurance, has never done insurance, or their insurance is expired, or the driver or the owner of the car did something that makes the insurance company feel like they will not pay for that loss. So maybe the driver was intoxicated, drunk, did not have a valid license, or the driver was overloaded, or the car was overloaded, flouting laws, okay? So in this case, the insurance company will not pay. It could also be in an event where there's a hit and run vehicle. The hit and run vehicle could have insurance, all right, but because we can't locate them, it means that we cannot have a compensation for that. And also if the insurance company is bankrupt. So recently the National Insurance Company went on some outreach to educate people on the motor compensation fund, and they were able to pay or settle some amounts of monies in excess of about 200,000 Ghana cedis. So please, if you are involved in any accident and any of these points are satisfied, please try and reach out to the National Insurance Commission, and then you can be considered for compensation. Then, so also please note that the compensation fund is a fund for the last resort. So it means that you have tried or attempted to receive compensation from your insurance company and it was not possible. You have to give the NIC an evidence that you did that, all right? Okay, so what do you do when you are involved in an accident? This is our final slide. So make sure that you protect your belongings and try to keep calm. Do not admit liability at the accident scene. Make sure you immediately contact your insurer or their representatives. Cooperate with law enforcement. All right, these are the 4 points you should bear in mind when we get involved in an accident. So in conclusion, I will say that motor third-party insurance is mandatory because it is prescribed by law. It may not provide adequate cover for your insurance. Therefore, it is necessary to consult your insurer or your agent for the right coverage beyond the mere mandatory insurance policy that is prescribed by the law. Master, thank you very much. This is the conclusion of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Peter. A very insightful presentation you've just done there. I picked up a few things that I didn't know. And so I'm sure these will come up in the question and answer stage. Please, just to reiterate our house rules for everyone, please put your devices on mute if you're not speaking. And if you have any questions to ask, you can raise your hand virtually and we will call you to ask your questions. Very quickly, before we go into Q&A, just to give you all a chance to start putting your hands up, we'll put a quick quiz up again. The quiz we missed earlier on for just how much we all know about insurance. Okay, so you are going to see that there's a quick poll that's come up on your screen. Very quickly, if you answer this question for us, and we'll get the answers shortly.
The whole background is confused.
Just about 10 more seconds to go with it. And Richard, who is my host, will be able to give me the results of our poll.
Okay.
Seems easy enough. Okay, so I picked up from Peter's conversation that the insurance company will actually follow up legal insurance in court. We have legal issues in court for you. I didn't know this. I thought that would be your responsibility, and that there's a compensation fund. So I have some questions about the compensation fund when we go into Q&A. Okay, Richard, do you have answers for me?
That is intake of drugs or medicine.
Please put yourself on mute unless you have a question. I think we have some information. Robert,
I'm on a WhatsApp meeting.
Do we have a result of our polls?
So I thank you very much for.
Okay, while we do that, we will also give Benedicta a small chance to answer, to quickly run us through her presentation from earlier that we missed. If Benedicta is ready, we can take a quick summary on what she was going to share with us earlier.
Let's just cut the statement on in the meeting.
Okay, I see we have Benedicta back. Benedicta, you have the floor.
So sorry about the issues we had earlier. So I was telling you about Star Assurance. The Star Assurance is an insurance company that was incorporated in August 1994 and was licensed to carry out corporate and retail insurance businesses in Ghana. We commenced operations in April 1985. We underwrite only general insurance businesses, including motor, fire, marine, aviation, accident, travel, etc. Star Assurance has been in business for the past 36 years. We have 27 branches in the 9 regions, in the 16 regions, regional capitals, and the rest are serviced by agency offices. The company was founded on a vision of partnering with you to be the definition of insurance and the creator of delightful experiences. We have 5 core values, which are professionalism. You meet that daily interacting with our staff. Innovativeness, and this is one of it, partnering with Assured Advisors to bring to you what mandatory insurance is. Teamwork, winning spirit, ownership. Achievements, I was telling you also about our achievements. The company is A-rated by Global Credit Rating of South Africa. We have received several nominations as a member of the Ghana Club 100 in the past 3.5 decades. We can also boast of a lot of achievements, but I'll only share a few with you now. Just last weekend, we received the Gold Award, General Insurance Company and Customer Service awarded by the Ghana Premier Business and Finance Excellence Awards 2020. We were the best general insurance company of the year 2020, awarded by the Ghana Business Awards. We were also the best company employee development, awarded by the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana 2020. We were the best innovative company of the year, awarded by the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana also in 2020. We also won the Customer Service Award by the Ghana Insurance Awards. Why would you want to choose Star Assurance? For the past 36 years of our expertise and experience, Star Assurance, fully aware and understanding the risks associated in underwriting, has in its fold some of the finest underwriting experts and professionals managing the work groups and branches. And you heard from Peter earlier, he's one of them. Nana Sewa will soon come, you know, Michael as well. Supervision is also very effective because both the CEO and our deputy CEO are insurance professionals. The quality of our underwriting expertise is evident in the remarkable underwriting results. We can boast of having the best professional underwriters in our industry. Nana Sewa, who happens to be one of our speakers, was adjudged the Professional Underwriter of the Year at the maiden edition of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana's Awards 2020. 2, we pay our claims promptly. Star Assurance is privileged and proud of its growth, good corporate image, and market confidence, thus building its superior ability to pay valid claims appropriately and promptly. It is for this reason we were made the best insurance company in terms of claims payment by the Ghana Insurance Awards in 2019. We are also the world-class reinsurance support. Star Assurance has always sought adequate reinsurance protection from reinsurers, both locally and internationally, for all the risks we undertake. Our current securities are Ghana Reinsurance Company Limited, Mainstream Reinsurance, GN Reinsurance Company, African Reinsurance Company Corporation Limited, Waika Reinsurance Corporation PLC, Continental Reinsurance Company PLC, ZEP PTA Reinsurance Company Limited, and a list of them if I want to. We have also partnered with SIGA Air Ambulance Limited to provide travel insurance for our customers. We continue to run an effective reinsurance program taking into consideration our risk profile, increased capital, and other important factors. Competitive position. Indeed, our excellent business culture has earned us an enviable list of clientele that enables us to give our clients exceptional customer service experience than what our competitors offer. Assured Advisors very that the company's Assured Advisors, am I right?
It will be easy for you.
Good. The company's
Advice Assurance.
Forgive
Nana Sewa, you're on mute. Sorry, Benedicta, you're on mute, I'm afraid.
Hello, can you hear me now, please?
Yes.
Okay, so the company's target for customer retention is 90%, reasons for our remarkable customer retention. Staff training and development continues to be a major focus in terms of our human capital. Again, this has also continued to be the idea of staffing ownership of the business, resulting in employee satisfaction and an enviable good working environment. This strength and stability of Star Assurance, we believe, confirm our credibility in terms of claims payment ability and within the insurance industry of Ghana. Star Assurance, our solid partner. Star Assurance, your solid partner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Benedicta. It's very reassuring to know that you were adjudged the best general insurance company just in 2020. And it's also very reassuring to know that our speakers are exceptionally qualified in the work that they're giving us as insurance partners. Thank you, Star Assurance. We will move quickly to question and answers for Peter's session. If you have any questions, please raise your hand virtually and we'll call on you. You can also type your questions into the chat box. We'll spend just a few minutes answering questions on his session before we move on to the next one. I will kick off the question and answer session while we wait for you to type your questions or raise your hands. Peter, I have a question about the compensation fund. You mentioned that it's a last resort, an option that we can go for if the person who caused the accident perhaps doesn't have insurance or flees the scene. Who follows up on the compensation fund? Is this something that the insurance company can assist with, or is this a process that the individual has to go through themselves?
Yes, it's a process that the individual has to go through themselves, but the NIC is very, very helpful with the compensation fund. If you go there, they will assist you like you are their client, all right? They will assist you like it's like they don't want anyone to be lacking, even though you might not have insurance and all that. The National Insurance Commission, the staff of the commission have been trained to assist whoever goes there and give them the best of service. So it's even more likely for you to get compensation if you go for the compensation fund after chasing after your insurance company and they refuse to pay you because of maybe any of the three underlying points I made. So I'll encourage everybody to go there because they are very helpful. They are very helpful.
Okay, thank you so much. Is it, my follow-up question on that will be, if assuming the individual is injured in the process and is unable to do their own follow-up with the compensation fund, is this something you can delegate to somebody and ask the person to do, or must it always be from the individual directly?
Yeah, the individual can choose a representative to do that. A recent issue in Cape Coast, there was a young boy who got his leg broken, all right, and the dad pursued the. I'll try and find the news item so that I'll share with all of us. And the dad pursued it with the National Insurance Commission, and they paid him about 20,000 Ghana cedis. It was on the news, and it was very excited to receive that amount of money. So I'll encourage all of us to look into it if you have any issues with it. Because we are in a dispensation where people think that insurance is not important, but yet they drive on roads and put people's lives at risk. So if you have the opportunity, please do go for the compensation fund. It will help.
Okay, so if we have any questions, for Peter, please raise your hand, put your question in the chat box and we will answer it. At the moment, I don't see any pending questions for Peter, but he is available throughout the session, I believe. Yes. Okay, we do have a question. Daniel wants to know, what does it mean to not accept liability at the accident scene? What does that mean, Peter?
Okay. So some of us, when there's an accident, we get very emotional. The other party also gets really emotional. For you, you might think that maybe you want to settle the issue and then get it over and done with, so that you don't have to go up and down to the police or take a long process, which that's what we genuinely think. But then the moment you admit liability at the accident scene, you are waiving off your rights to a proper investigation. Okay, it could be possible that the other party was at fault, but because you are using your unprofessional, or you are not a professional or a law enforcement agent or officer, you will think that you were the one at fault. As an insurance professional for the past more than 10 years, I can tell you that a lot of people come to us and tell us that, oh, this was my fault. But we look at the accident and analyze it, and we say that, no, you were not at fault. So we end up writing to the party at fault and telling them that, no, you were the one at fault. So your insurance company has to pay, or you have to settle our client for it. And what I'll encourage is that if you don't admit fault, it might be your fault, all right. You might think that it's your fault, but make sure that the right person tells you that it's your fault. So, and that's what your insurance agent can do, or the police officer in charge of that jurisdiction can also do. So it is better you let the issue be addressed by the police, all right, so that they will establish the person who is at fault. So if the police establish that you are at fault, that's when you can proceed and then admit the liability, and then provide your insurance certificate, your driver's license, and other documents, so that we can proceed with the insurance claim. And whatever process the police want to take you through, they can also take you through it. So please, it's always advisable not to immediately admit fault. It might even be the other party's fault, but it will force you to admit liability, but don't do it. Yes, for the sake of going through a proper process and then getting proper compensation. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. I think we have another question from Daniel. Daniel, do you want to go ahead and ask your question? Okay, I'll read Daniel's question. He's asking Peter, when should you depreciate your car for insurance?
Okay, that we didn't go deep into the comprehensive insurance. For third-party insurance, you remember I said that the vehicle itself is not covered, so we don't even ask for the value of your car under third-party insurance. But under third-party fire and theft, and then motor comprehensive insurance, that's when we ask for the value of your car. And for the cases of depreciation, we don't use the accounting depreciation to depreciate your car. We are interested in the market value of your car, or the replacement value of your car. So what we are thinking about, let me just say it in layman's terms so that we try to put our mind through it. If your car gets damaged, or it gets totally, you lose your car totally, how much will be sufficient for you to replace that car? This is what you should use as the value of your car. So for instance, if you buy a car for 100,000 in 2015, and in 2018, the market value, or in 2021, the market value of the car is 80,000. But when you use accounting depreciation, and you are depreciating at maybe 10% a year, you'll be way less than 80,000. If you suffer a loss, you will get a paltry amount, which will not be enough for you to buy a car of similar stature. All right, so let's put this in mind. Let's not use the accounting depreciation, but let's use the market value or the replacement value of the car. And let me say this too in addition. Sometimes accounting is for is especially for interpreting books, all right, for the purpose of audit and also knowing the value of a company and all that. So if you bring this into insurance terms, you could lose heavily. So for instance, there are some cars, if you remove every part of the car, the bumper, the headlights, let's say the radio, the dashboard, if you remove all the values one by one, and you say that you are going to sell those parts separately, you could end up getting more than the value of that car. You understand me? So in that case, it is very prudent that you will use the market value or the replacement value of your car. So please, who asked the question? It was Daniel, right? So Daniel, I hope your question is answered and not depreciated on accounting basis. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we will allow one last question and then we move on to our next session. The last question is from Richard, who's asking, please, during a third-party accident, what are the required documents to process the claim?
Oh, great. That's a very good question. So for a third-party accident, it will depend on the accident, though, but one of the major requirements is a police extract and a police report from the officer in charge who attended to the case. All right. So we'll need those documents. And also we will need you to provide us with pictures of the damaged vehicles at the scene of the accident. All right. And also we'll need a certificate, copy of the certificate and license of the other party if a vehicle was involved. All right. And also we'll need the copy of the license of your driver, or you, if you were the one driving as the owner of the car, we will need a copy of your license too. And we will need you to complete a form, and then we take it from there. So these are the documents that we will require from you. But before even any other document is ready, it is very, very prudent to inform your insurance representative first, so that the person will assist you through the process, and then you will not be found once, because some people are not very well versed in following up on the police and all that. So your insurance representative, especially Assured Advisor, I know that they do this a lot. They help their clients a lot to follow up on their claims, follow up on documents. And this is very, very helpful to you, because when an accident happens, you might be very distressed. You might not be thinking straight, and so many things might be happening in your mind, and you may not even you might even miss something that is very important. So it's very advisable to seek advice from your insurance representative, and then you move on from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. We still have questions coming in for you. So perhaps you can just give like 2-second answers quickly to these questions. Karen wants to know if anyone can drive her car, and when there is a claim, she can claim for it. And also, a last one from Deborah, who says, please, which category of vehicles fall under GW1, Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3? If you kindly ask people to mute your phone.
The first question again.
Okay, the first one is, can anyone drive her car, and when there's a claim, she claims for it?
Yes, you can drive any car, so far as you are driving on the permission of the so far you are driving on the permission of the owner of the car, you are covered. So you can always drive any car based on the permission of the owner of the car. All right, and you make sure that you have a valid license. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is also that, please, when you are driving a car, make sure that you have the correct license category for that car. So if you have a license B, you're only allowed to drive.
Sorry to interrupt, Peter. Grace, can we kindly ask that you mute yourself?
So if you have a license B, you are only allowed to drive vehicles that are saloon cars. Okay. So the A is also for a motorcycle. So you make sure that you have the proper licensing for the car that you are driving. You can't have a license B and go and drive a truck. When you have an accident, the insurance company will not pay. So please, let's look at this. And there are some heavy duty trucks too that are based on the weight of the vehicle. So if you don't have the required license to drive that weight of vehicle, you will not be a valid driver or validly licensed driver for that vehicle. So please, let's take note of those things. So when you are driving your friend's car, please make sure that you have the correct license for that car and you are driving on the person's permission. All right. Thanks, Karen, for your question.
Okay, so there are a few questions, but I'm going to put a hold on them in the interest of time, and then we'll bring it back at the end of the session. We will swiftly move on to our poll, and we have the results from the poll. The results indicate that 54% of you think that the mandatory insurances in Ghana are employer's liability, commercial fire and allied perils, and motor insurance. And 46% of us think it's commercial fire and allied perils and motor insurance. My little understanding of insurance, as has been shared with us